Yo. What's up? We back. You ready?
We back. I'm ready.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Success in Black and White.
The podcast. We are back in the house home again. We are back again. That's right. We're coming to you live.
From the house.
Coming to you live.
From the house.
From the house.
Definitely from the house.
Yep.
Stay home.
Yep. Staying at home. Hopefully everybody else is doing the same and following the recommendations, protocols, depending on where you're living, and staying at home. So we can keep,
if you can.
If you can, that's right.
Unless you're a
essential
worker, not just health, but any essential worker. We love you. We appreciate you.
Yep.
We're trying to do our part by staying home.
That right.
What week are we even in? I don't even know what day it is.
I think it's 4 since we've been home.
Yeah.
4?
Okay.
I don't know. I think this is 4.
Could be.
Wow. A month?
Oh, yeah. I never even know what day it is.
Yeah. Me neither.
That's a problem in my real life, though, too.
I thought you were going to say that's a privilege.
Yeah, that might be a privilege. I don't know. I've never thought about that.
Nah. Yeah.
So how you doing on week 4?
Oh, I'm all right.
Yeah?
Yep. Yeah. I try not to, we just gonna dive in here. We doing another real talk session, I guess, if y'all haven't figured this out.
Oh, wait, do you have any objectives?
No, I got a couple of things that I've been thinking about, but we'll talk about, we'll eventually get there and we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay, good. I don't have any objectives.
I just have, 1 or 2 maybe.
Oh, okay.
But it's just, it's tough because a lot of people have been asking, and some people have been checking in, and they are like, how are you doing? And you know me, I immediately think, I'm like, man, we're all in this situation together. The same stresses and frustrations and challenges that I'm having, they're probably having, and other people are probably having. So when somebody asks me that, I really try to think through how I answer it, and I'm just like, man. And I always try to put a positive spin on it, to where I'm blessed. We are blessed.
We're very blessed.
Because we're still employed. Even though we're working from home and we're homeschooling, I'm like, oh, I'm so stressed and I'm so tired. But then I'm like, there are other people that are probably stressed and tired for other reasons.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I know a lot of people have been checking in and asking, how are you doing, man? I'm like, oh, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to even front. It's challenging times, but you know what? I'm getting through it, because I'm pretty sure everybody can probably answer the same way. I'm tired. I'm stressed. When is this going to be over? My gosh.
I feel like we have, at least speaking for me, but I kind of see it with you too, is I feel like we have less time. This kind of puts life in perspective, right? Because I felt like before I would be like, I'm so stressed. We don't have enough time. There's not enough time in the day. And that was kind of true. But now I'm like, there's actually literally no more time that we can squeeze out of our days.
Yeah.
There's just no more time because we are, like you said, homeschooling. I'm with the kids all day. You're with the kids a lot of the day. But you have to work, majority of your job has to be done during the day because you're leading teams. That means because mine is not like that, my job gets done at night. So even when we get done recording, I'm going to go work. So there's just zero time left. And so it kind of puts that perspective. I complained before about not having time, and now I actually we don't have any extra time. We'll be I don't even know what time it is. I don't know what day it is. I don't know. But like you said, we're very blessed. And we're blessed to have jobs, and we're blessed to, it's almost like we're living this in a first world. We have a roof over our heads, and we have a house, and we have a space we can go where we can social distance and be comfortable in our social distancing. And there are a lot of people, I know there are some listeners, and there was a listener who reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and she was telling me, she's in India, and she was telling me about the very crowded quarters and the very crowded space and what it's like, and they're all going stir crazy because they're under lockdown, which is very different in India than in the United States. We still have a lot of privileges and a lot of freedoms. And when she was telling me about lockdown, it was like, there are police at every street corner. Like, you literally can't leave your house, and they're in very close, cramped quarters, and there's no room, and everybody's just going crazy. So I feel very privileged. So at the same time that there are some stressors, like you said, I don't want to complain about it, and I want to count our blessings right now, because I think that we have a lot of them.
You know what? Time inventory. I wonder if a lot of people going back and looking at their time inventory and like really tracking out, because you was talking about time and how like you thought you didn't have much time before all of this. And now if you go back and kind of check your time inventory and see what you were doing with all that time that you used to have versus like really not having time now. That a lot of people were scamming on their own time inventory.
That's true.
You know, they're like, well, I'm doing the time inventory and I'm using it wisely, and I got this much time and I'm allocating it here and here and here. And then now they're like, oh my gosh, like I really don't have any time. So what were all those pockets of time that were allocated in the time inventory? I'm just curious.
You know what? I think it's important to look at how we prioritize things, because I say that now, but the reality is back then we were working, like we had an 8-hour workday. We could get our work done in an 8-hour workday. We'd come home, we'd be together as a family for a few hours, and then we would go to bed. And we would sometimes get work done in between that. But for the most part, like even we could sit back and we could watch it. We had our shows, right?
Yeah.
And we still try to have some shows now, because obviously you had to watch Tiger King if, you were alive in 2020 during quarantine. We have a couple others that we're trying to keep up with, but it's not the same. Like when people say they're binge watching shows right now, I'm like, if we get one a weekend, I'm really happy, And so it makes me think about priorities, because now we get to be together as a family and with our kids for a lot longer time period. And that is a priority. And then it's almost like it flipped, like we come out and then work is the couple hours that we can cram as much productivity into it as we possibly can. And then you got to sleep sometime, right? So
yeah,
I feel like at the same time, it's just it's prioritizing, like you say.
Yeah, I feel like the sleep is where is where we're shaving.
Yeah, we're definitely shaving sleep right now.
Yeah, definitely. And
we don't have any choices really.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah,
get up in the morning, pre-prep with the kids when they get up, put them down, work, and then that's kind of when we turn in. But you know what? I like during this, I have to. So for me, it's kind of tough. What's challenging is working from home, because we might have talked about it previously, but like never being able to turn it off.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, that's tough, because the same place that no matter, and they're like, go to a different room in your house. Well, our house isn't that big, but they're like, go to a different space, create your workspace. And I'm just like, it don't really matter.
The bathtub.
It don't really matter. And it's just always like constantly like never being able to turn off, and you can't really go anywhere.
Right.
So, and then I've been working in the backyard, so that's gonna become a spot like to be able to kind of escape to. We got the back porch, but still, sometimes I go out there to take calls and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel
and for you, our job roles are so different. Mine is very project based, and so it is hard. It's hard because my brain works in like succession and constantly, and so sometimes I'll think of something and like I need to get it done right now so I don't forget it. But for the most part, I can compartmentalize and I can turn it off. And I don't have a team. You have a team, and so if there's anything that comes up throughout the day, you have to stop if it is family time.
Yeah.
And because everything is so important right now, and trying to keep people engaged and all the things that we're doing, you don't get to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
Throughout the day.
You know what though? I know myself very well, and during these times, I am learning how to do things that I'm not really comfortable with, or like I didn't think that I could thrive in these different capacities. For instance, like I'm a process person, and then once I like dive in, it's like I'm ready to go and I gotta go and get it done. That's not the case now. I got like 30 minutes before it's like interruption. So it's like if I got something to do, it's like I don't have time to do all the process. I'm like, all right, D, strategically think through what you need to get done and how you're going to get this done. And you got 25 minutes now after them 5 minutes of strategically thinking, 25 minutes to at least knock a part of it out. And like I can't just sit down and like hone in and, you know, take 2 hours and complete it and knock it out. It's like you got 30 minutes, strategically think through for the first 5 minutes of how you're going to do this.
That's true.
And then you got 25 minutes to knock out a part, and then you got to know how to cut it off and then come back and do the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and for me, I've never really operated that way, and I never thought I could thrive that way because I got to think it out, you know, get it together, and then it's like go time. Yeah. And then when it's go time, I'm out and I'm going. Yeah. And I don't, if I don't have to stop, I don't like to stop, and I like to keep going until it's done because I'm result driven. Yeah. So it's like to have to stop and like don't really get a result, knowing that you got to come back and pick up where you left off at. Yeah. You know, it's like this. It's like if you running a 4x400, right?
I hated that race.
You know what I mean? And it's like
that was my worst
you
race.
took a break in between each lap. You know what I mean? It's like somebody running and you catch a baton, and then it's like you take a break and then you come back and you pick it up. You know, it just kind of didn't make sense for me. That's how I saw it. It didn't make sense for me. So
that's funny.
But learning how to operate under those, you know, situations and circumstances taught me a lot.
I think there's a lot of transferable skills that are going to come out of this. And I think, I mean, in the beginning, the first 2 weeks, we were so crazy, and we were like making fun of the people on the internet who would be like, use this time to learn a new language or to like learn a new skill or get a new hobby. And would be like, they obviously do not have children under the age of 5. But what I think is that even though we can't like choose intentionally those things that we want to learn, I think there's things that because we are doing our absolute best to max our productivity when we can, I feel like we're learning new things all the time. It's just a way that we're not going to be able to be like, I learned a new language, but I can go in and say, my husband taught me this awesome way that I can organize my entire life on my computer, which I've never been able to do before. I could toss a notebook right now out the window, and I've never been able to do that, but you showed me how to do that to maximize my productivity.
Yeah. And that's so important, you know, and this is what I feel like, and it's weird. I've been thinking, I'm just like, when we started our business, like the entrepreneurship side of you, I feel like it was preparing us for like right now. If you think about it, like the upworking after hours, true. Prioritizing, restructuring how we do things, how we share information, even talking to people and coaching virtually.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Everything that we were doing.
We did start.
Like we started and like we learned how to do a lot of it, and we became comfortable like with the filming and the talking and the podcasting and the sharing of information. True. It's like everything that we did, you know, in prep of when we started a business.
It did. It actually set us up.
It set us up because now, like, I feel comfortable. Like, when I'm on Zoom, I'm like, I know what to do. Like, I was doing coaches. I just, like, it worked out for us. So, and it's kind of weird.
Actually, that's really funny. I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. You know, and I also was thinking about something else. And this will kind of tie into, you asked me that I have, like, points. Or what did you ask me?
I don't know. Oh, objectives.
Objectives.
I like that word.
Objectives. So this is what I've been still finding time to kind of listen into other people's podcasts and listening to other inspirational messages. And one of the ones that I've been following and listening to it is somebody they would say like focus on the things that you can control. And obviously the objective of that message, I love it. And it makes sense the way that they explain it. But if y'all know me, like I always like to take it and apply it and then kind of think through it and kind of figure out how it fits and work with me. And obviously the intent and the purpose behind focus on the things that you can control and how they explain it. I was like, oh man, that's great. And I listen to it every day. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, those are two very dynamic like verbs, like focus and control.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it and I was like, man, this is, I got a little deep, which I was like, man, this is crazy. Like I can barely focus on anything right now. So if the objective is to focus on the things that you can control and you have no focus or not able to focus, then does that just kind of demise the entire thought or the entire concept, right? Right? Because think about it. I was just talking about.
So how did you move from this place where you were like, I'm having trouble focusing on anything because there's so much in front of me and just in my face to where you could focus? Like, did you make a list? Like, how did you determine the things you could control?
This is crazy. Hopefully I'm about to say something that can help somebody who may be similar to me or think like I do. But if you're one of those people right now, you're in a situation to where like it's hard for you to focus because you have work, you have kids at home, you're trying to keep up with the news, you're trying to keep up with what's going on. You also have other external factors that you're worrying about, and your mind just constantly takes you to all those different places. Like for me, I had to sit down and accept that, you know what? I don't have to try to focus right now because that is not working for me and it's not helping me, like you said, to be productive, like trying to focus, because that's how I used to be. I needed my time to prep, think, focus, lock in, but I can't do that now. So I thought about it and I was like, man, I'm just going to accept that right now is not a good time for me to try to focus. And then I looked at the other side of what, what they were talking about, focus on the things that you can control. And I was like, well, what about this control side? How do I reclaim or take back the controls in my life?
So how did you do that?
And this is what I was thinking about. Like, how did you do that? And how did I do that? So obviously, if I was going to accept and be okay with not being able to focus, I at least wanted to take back and reclaim the controls in my life, because that's where I felt like I was losing everything. I was like, dang, I don't have no control over what's going on in the world. I don't have control over what these people are telling me I can and can't do at work. I ain't got no control over my kids being able to go to school, not go to school or not go to school. I ain't got no control over, how we're going to teach them and the learning objectives that they need to get in order to stay up to date, especially our daughter, because she's in VPK and supposed to be transitioning into kindergarten next year. And, all those different things. Like, man, so how do I reclaim or take back the control in my life? And I was like, well, if I can't focus to do that, what if I really homed in and I guess focused on just the control piece and not focusing on everything? And one of the things that I did was try to figure out and identify in every situation, every circumstance, what I can control, and all of that is what I learned from them. So I took my mindset and I shifted it, and I tried to get into a routine of learning more in everything. Not only that, I stepped outside of some of our traditional things that we're doing and just try to find little projects and little things to just learn things that I either wanted to, or to challenge myself and learn things that I could just do. So for instance, laying artificial turf, not my trade at all. Not something I ever dreamed or thought that I would want to do. But obviously, one, we got a quote for it, and I was just like, that's ridiculous. But two, kind of doing the research, watching the YouTube videos and learning how to do it, I was like, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
And that was something that I could control, is learning how to do it. And then I actually put it forth and I actually did it.
Yeah.
Also, like being deliberate more, like that's something like that you can control, being deliberate.
Yeah.
And I talked about that earlier, where I said I used to think a lot and process. And I'm like, no, I ain't got time for that. I got to be deliberate. I got to, strategically think through it. And not make a rash decision that's way out there, but be deliberate about the decisions that I'm making and what I'm doing. So those are some of the ways like I was reclaiming my control and taking control, because I felt like everything else had control. The situation at hand and what the work people were saying and the kids going to school and what they had to do or didn't have to do. Like I had no control, and I was just like, oh, and I was listening to the message. It was like, focus on the things that you control. I'm like, I can't even focus right now.
Yeah.
So then I was just like, bump that. Like, let's get the control under wraps. What can I control? I can control what I learn, how much I learn, when I learn. I can control being deliberate. I can control, what I'm doing with my time, even though I can't focus. That's kind of where because I said those are two dynamic verbs.
Yeah, they are.
Focus on things, control. But I really liked it. But also another thing that you can control is what you allow, like your emotions and stuff, like what you allow to get you all riled up. Because I know, like I said, watching the news and what people are saying and the social medias, you can control that. There are a lot of other things that you can control, and you can really kind of get a hold of those and not so much worry about focusing on just everything, but really honing in on the control pieces.
Yeah, I love that you said that. I read recently, before all this happened, a book that's like life-changing, and it is it's a Christian book. It's a devotional type book. And the thing that stuck out to me, because I think a lot of people will say, God, what am I supposed to do next? Like, what do you want me to do next? If I am living for God and like my life is for God, God, tell me what you want me to do next. What am I supposed to do to be successful for you? Like, what am I supposed to do? And so we often look for that. And what this book was saying was, instead of looking for and asking the question of, God, what am I supposed to do next? The best question and the best thing that you can ask is, who am I supposed to be in this moment, in this circumstance? How am I supposed to react? Like, what are, almost kind of like what you were saying, like what emotions, behaviors, actions do I display in times that there may be times that I have no control of my circumstances. So instead of what do I do next, it's who am I supposed to be next?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I think that is real good.
Yeah. So that was, for me, I'm like, that's life-changing. It doesn't always happen, but it's always in the back of my mind, so that if I do kind of lose my way, or I start to get anxious or feel very worried or stressed about the circumstances we're in, or like what's going to happen next, instead of thinking about, well, what can I do to make it better? It's more like, who am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be the mom that I'm called to be because I have kids, and to be the best mom? Am I supposed to be the best wife that I can be in these circumstances during this time? Like, am I supposed to be a good friend and reach out to people, and a good sister and a good daughter, and, like all of these things? Who am I supposed to be right now? Not what am I supposed to do?
That's funny that you said that, because I had a conversation with one of my mentees I checked in on. And I said it's funny because I just saw a meme maybe today or yesterday that also kind of reflected on the conversation that I had with my mentee. And what I was telling him, he was just asking me about like, and he was a senior in college, he is a senior in college and was supposed to be graduating, not right now, but at the end of summer. So in August. So he was feeling really down, and I was just talking to him, and he was saying that kind of similar to what you're just saying, like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I was supposed to go do my internship. And like you said, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do?
Right.
And obviously, I wish I would have had that message, which you just shared, to give to him. But I was telling him.
Listen to the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. I wish I had. I was telling him that like during this time, like continue to do what you need to do in order to succeed at what you set out to succeed, which was graduating at the end of summer, because they still have the online class. Like you still have classes, you still have assignments, even though you're not sure where you're going to land the internship for the summer to graduate and things like that. Really make sure that you're doing the things that you need to be doing. And then I told him, I said, I would also take this opportunity, if you're at home and you really can't go anywhere and you have time outside of when your classwork is done, to expand like your knowledge base, expand in areas that you want to. And he started telling me about some things that he was getting involved in, and I was like, well, I didn't mean that. Like, you know, I was like, I didn't mean that. No, that's not what I was saying. I was like, still stay within who you are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can grow within who you are.
Yeah.
And I was just telling him that, and the meme that I saw today or yesterday, one of my friends on social media posted, and it was an orange slice placed into a garlic clove. So one of the cloves was taken out, and the orange slice was placed in there, and it was like, just because you fit doesn't mean you belong.
Oh.
Yeah, and I saw it, and I was like,
I like that visual.
Yeah, so that's kind of what it was, a little tangerine slice. Mm-hmm. And it fit perfectly into the little garlic clove once one was taken out. And I was like, man, that was kind of the message that I was sharing with him. Like, stay within who you are, but grow within who you are.
Yeah.
With all of the time that you have. So if there are some things that you wanted to learn, that you wanted to do, that can help you advance during these times, like, learn as much of it as you can, because when we come out, you know, that's not the time to start to learn. Like, use this time now to learn and to gain the knowledge that you need to. So when you come out, you're ready to go full steam ahead. So I was sharing that with him. But it was tough talking to him, because when you think about the people that we work with a lot, which are college students or young professionals, like, they're just getting into the groove and the routines. And if they're graduating, they have like the excitement and stuff. And then all of a sudden, the uncertainty of like not even graduating and not getting a job. And the young professionals that we work with and talk to, like, are on the front line of when you talk about layoffs and furloughs and things like that. So
yeah, they get worried.
Yeah, they get worried.
I mean, I feel like, especially for us professionally, most of the employee, like, we haven't really had those discussions, but I do feel really bad. We have a friend who is a grad student, and he was like, I just don't know what I'm going to do, because especially in our profession, in education, higher education especially, people have put hiring freezes on for the next, like, 12 months.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like, I'm graduating in June. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm not going to be able to get a job anywhere. And I'm like, if I hear of anything.
Yeah.
But this is where, you know, and we laugh because we do have 2 young kids, and it's very, very difficult for us to do other things. But I feel like this is a prime time. If you do not have children, and we are blessed to have children, I'm not saying that, but if you do not have children, this is a great time for you, like you were saying, to learn. I mean, we were making fun of learn another language, but oh my gosh, if we didn't have kids, I'd probably be learning another language right now.
Yeah.
Like, what else are you gonna do? So I think it's a good time, like you said, take advantage of the time. If you have it and your circumstances allow, learn all you can.
Yep.
And brush up your resume.
Yeah, that never hurts. Get that thing in order.
Yeah.
That definitely doesn't hurt. So
yeah.
Yeah. So what else?
Well, let's see. Okay, so my first question was, how are you doing? And we just dovetailed off into like 30 minutes of
how I was doing.
talking. Yeah. But I do want to give you kudos and props, because you talked about the yard, and that is, I mean, we talk about the fact that we don't have a lot of time, and you squeezed in the past 4 weeks, you were able to basically completely transform our backyard. And that was learning a lot of new skills, and we were not going to pay the price tag to have a professional come do it. And so for a fraction of the cost, I feel like we got a beautiful backyard that you transformed.
Yeah, it looks
It's
really
amazing.
nice. I'm proud of it. I'm humble, and usually I don't like boast or brag, but
you worked hard.
I did.
You were working. You were working.
Man,
yeah.
I'm talking about when the work day would end, I would go out there, and I'd be out there.
You'd be out there all night.
And I would still try to come in to, put our daughter to bed. And I'm just like,
you did great.
I'm like, man, to eat. And I'm just like, oh, it's just dragging out. Yeah. And then it rained a couple of days.
Oh, man, those were the worst days.
And that set me back. Yeah. I was just like, man, but now that it's all done, at least in the lower level, I'm like, man, it looks good. Like, I'm so proud of it.
And you know what? It makes it worse that the kids are so little because they don't understand.
No.
Because I'd be like, no, we can't go out back right now because daddy's working and we need to give him as much time and space to just try to finish with all the tools out there, you know. And they just didn't get it because they wanted to go out and play.
They want to go out there. I laid my foundation. My son come out there kicking the dirt up. I'm like, dude, like
He wanted to play.
I know he wanted to play.
He was trying to help too. Sometimes.
He was trying to help.
Yeah.
I appreciated it.
Yeah.
But that was funny. I laid the foundation because I put in a French drain too. So I had to slant it down and everything. And he came out there and kicking up dirt. I'm like, dude, I just sat out here with this 10 by 10 temper and got the slope measured out and everything. And he kicking.
Look at you and all your terms.
So that ain't no term. So listen, what I was about to say was anybody that knows, equipment and stuff, I don't have any.
You don't have the proper equipment.
No proper equipment.
No.
So I did this without the proper equipment. What I mean by this, I laid artificial turf with 2 shovels, a rake, a Swiss knife, a hammer, and a level. And the level is only about 2 feet, 24 inches.
There's no lie in this.
That's it.
You did great.
2 shovels, a rake,
it makes it more
a
impressive.
Swiss knife, and a level, and a hammer.
This is why I wanted you to post the pictures because
Oh my goodness!
I was already impressed with it.
So, and then here's the thing: she gonna post on the social medias another project. I'm like, hold up. I'm down for the projects. I'm not going in front. I did like learning how to do it.
And you do really well. Like you have a side job.
I do.
If you ever need it.
That's because of like the way that I am, like how I like to focus. Like that's one of the things. I'm like, dang, like, oh, I got it. I hone in. Once I get to going, I'm very meticulous about my stuff.
Yes.
And then it's like, dude, you got 2 hours, like, and then next thing you know, you got to come in because you got to eat with the family, and then you got to put the little girl to bed, and by that time it's gonna be dark again, and then you got to hope that it don't rain. So it was fun learning how to do it. I appreciate it more now because when I was doing it was stressful because time one, because I didn't have the proper tools. 2, but with all that being said, is I got to get me a shed, y'all, in the back. And I got to get me some more tools. Because there have been a couple of things that I've tried and I've learned how to do. Like I built, a bench, like a crate bench, a crate storage bench. That was about 2 years ago. Wow, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When D-Man was born.
Yeah.
So, and that turned out really, really well. I mean,
so did the dog.
That's what I'm talking about. The crate,
the dog.
The dog.
It's
a bench because it's a bench top on it.
It is a bench top, but
we just use it as storage.
Oh, when you said crate, I'm like, no, it's not.
The dog crate.
It's a dog house. It's a dog suite.
Is that what you call it?
That's what I call it.
It's a dog.
That's what I tell my kids.
It's a bench. It is. I made it so that you could sit on it and put pillows on it. It can hold up to probably about 350 pounds.
But inside is like this huge penthouse dog suite.
The dog with the storage
she's
on the
in
side.
there right now.
Yeah, she's in there right now with the storage
I
on
know.
the side.
I wish we could just show the camera.
So,
wait, we just got to show it. Wait.
I made that.
And she in there. And she got a little storage thing. I know. So anyway, sorry for those of you just listening. I'm not going to hear that.
Anyways. I made that though, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And then I did the turf and then other little small projects around the house I did. And I don't mind doing it. I did that with no saw.
I know.
I did that with the hand saw going back and forth to Home Depot getting the wood cut.
And now I'm going to expect.
If I get a shed and some tools?
A lot more.
Girl, please. That's going to be my little man cave. I need a 12 by 12.
I can't wait for our backyard to look like HGTV.
Nah, we gotta pay somebody to come do some of that. They gotta move dirt. I need dirt and all that stuff. If I get a shed, the shed ain't gonna produce dirt. I gotta fill in spots. I gotta get all kind of stuff. Anyway,
okay. So what? So what now?
Yeah, nothing now. It's time to take a break. My body need to rest.
Yeah, that's true.
I am that physically wore me out. Getting down there, cutting turf, rolling it out, and it rained, and then hanging it so it can dry, and moving dirt, and compacting and doing all this stuff. But anyways, that goes back to what I was saying about the control thing. Yeah. Like I was able to learn something new and I appreciated having opportunity to do that. And really focusing in I guess, as much as I can. But whatever I can't, don't worry about it, but reclaiming my control.
I like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that this episode turned into focus and control.
Yeah, focus and control. If you are able to focus, by all means, focus. And like I said, I didn't want to take away from the whole message, because I still listen. Focus on what you can control. And I'm just like, man, I can't even control what I can focus on.
Yeah.
But I really kind of split it into two and really try to take ownership of that control side, because right now I know I'm not going to be able to focus. I can't go nowhere. I can't put you or the kids out. You know what I mean? I still got the work to do. I'm just not going to be able to focus. Like I said, I got 30 minutes. You like, all right, I got them. And I got 30 minutes before I hear somebody knocking the door, pushing the door open, or screaming. I'm like, oh, there went my focus.
Daddy!
Yeah, there went my focus.
Or the best was Tuesday morning when we had this past, or Friday morning.
I'm
Friday
like,
morning.
you talking about Friday?
Friday morning. Because we work in the same institution, and we don't usually have overlapping meetings, but we had one meeting that was the same. And you're like on the leadership team for that, and I was like a guest, and so I'm like, well, I have to be here because I have to talk. But Vaughn is like, mommy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even answer questions. Like, I can't.
I came out and got him though.
I know you did,
but then I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing on the project, because I missed that whole meeting.
I know. It's probably gonna be like that Tuesday too. You're planning to just take them.
It's all good, but
yeah, it's we're working through it.
Yeah, and like I said, the focus part, like it's hard.
Yeah.
But the control part is not, and I'm not really a control type person.
You're not.
But I'm doing better at trying to, take ownership of that and everything that I can control, like being deliberate, learning my emotions, and how I'm planning out things, like controlling that and not letting that be dictated by everything else. So
good.
Yeah. Hopefully I said something that can help somebody. You said that have an objective.
We didn't really have objectives, but I think this was a really good episode.
Focus versus control.
Yeah. And I mean, we want to still come on and talk to you guys, and I hope that we can come up with objectives beforehand, but we already know right now that may not be possible. So you're getting lucky if you just get to see us.
Yeah. Yeah, we ain't got time to focus on that, but we can control putting out the episode. Aha.
There you go.
All right. Yeah. Well, until the next time.
Bye.
Peace.